Half-Shell Oyster House offers award-winning cuisine and service. Named TripAdvisor Best Top 10 Small Chains in the United States. Voted Best Seafood in Mississippi Magazine 8 times. You can enjoy award-winning oysters and seafood, delicious steaks, pastas, sandwiches, salads, and so much more in a unique, polished casual dining experience. Half-Shell Oyster House is located at 115 Laurel Park Cove, Suite 105, Flowood, Mississippi 39232. Or you can give them a call at 769-257-7586. And hey, tell them Sonia sent you.
She say sports. She say sports. She say sports. She say sports.
Hey y'all, it's your girl Sonia and welcome back to She Say Sports. Today I have with me Louisiana Tech, the Lady Techsters Hall of Famer, Lori Scott McIntyre. What's up, Lori? How are you?
I'm great. How are you?
I am well. You see, I done moved on up. Last time you interviewed, we were on what is it? A shoestring and a can.
Yeah, something like that. God is good.
God is good. How's everybody doing? The fam, your boys?
Everybody's doing well. Thank you for asking.
That's good. That's good. Well, we won't tarry. I'm here today. We're both here today to talk about a Mississippi legend that passed away on last week, Miss Lucy Harris-Stewart. I had the opportunity to I was supposed to possibly interview her last year, and I really hate I missed that.
Wow.
Really hate I missed that one, but you know, hey, it is what it is. She was also the only woman to be drafted into the NBA, the only woman, and that was in 1977, I believe. So, you know, we'll get more into that later, but before we get started, let me just give a few attributes about Miss Lucia. As I mentioned, she was the first woman to be drafted in the NBA. She was also the first Black woman to be inducted into the Naismith Basketball Hall of Fame. She was a part of the 1976 Summer Olympics, which was the first time basketball was included, well, female, in the Summer Olympics. And she also made the very first basket, and that'll never be broken. She also done many other amazing things. And, you know, Lori, I brought you on today because Lucia was one of your sheroes. Am I correct?
That's correct. She was.
Okay. Tell us about the first time you saw Miss Lucy play and how that affected you as a ball player.
Wow. I want to say I was probably in the 9th grade, and my coach at the time, he was big about that was the first time I'd ever been to a college basketball game.
Okay.
And I was just in total awe. I had never seen a female that tall other than my mother, but she was out there on that court doing work. And I was just...
I'm sorry, how tall is Miss Glow, your mother, Miss Gloria?
My mother is 6'3".
So they're the same height.
Yeah, but I mean, I never saw my mom in her day playing. And back when she played, they were doing 3-on-3. So that's a whole nother story. But her agility and her ability to just make baskets was just amazing. Her footwork was impeccable, and she was literally unstoppable. If you want to equate her to a modern day player, she was like the female version of Shaq. She got that ball in the paint, it was a wrap. So that gave me inspiration to say, hey, I can do this. I wasn't as big as she was, but it was certainly very inspiring to see someone doing it at that level at that time.
Wow. And because of Lucy and her team, you actually had aspirations to go to Delta State. Is that correct?
Well, they recruited me, and if I could have played with her, I probably would have gone there, but she left before my class graduated. So I had other aspirations, but again, she was still an inspiration in terms of going to the next level and winning championships.
Absolutely. So, as we know, Lucy and her teammates went on to win 3 consecutive championships in the AIAW. This was before women basketball was added to the NCAA.
Right.
And it's just, I don't want to get, well, we're going to talk about the documentary, but I was just amazed at how, and then she even mentioned in the documentary, the Queen of Basketball, which we'll get into, that she was the only Black player on the team, and they had no like friendship or anything, but you couldn't tell on the floor. So is it, as a basketball player, how is that easy to do if you don't even have like camaraderie with your teammates outside of the court?
Well, I guess this is ultimate definition of teamwork. You come together for one common goal, and it's almost like going to work. You may not get along with all of your coworkers, but you all are there for one common purpose, and that's to make your employer money.
Absolutely.
So, and you could see that they were connected on the court. I didn't realize that their friendships were not as connected as you would think they would be, but they played like one. And they moved like a machine, and it was very apparent when they were out there on the court.
That's awesome, and I love Coach Wade when she would just flip her jacket open and say, "Hey, give them hell."
That's right, give them hell.
They did. So, okay, we're already talking about the documentary, but the Queen of Basketball was released about Lucy Harris, thank God, before she passed on last year in 2021. What was something you learned from the documentary that you didn't know, and how did it open your eyes even more how special Lucy was, or is?
Well, I didn't realize she came from such a big family. That explains probably the competitiveness she had in her,
right?
And the closeness too that they had, and her work ethic and her humbleness. She was, for her to be at that level at that time, you would never know it. She was extremely humble, and I always admired that about her. But also, I did know about her, the bipolar, the mental illness situation. And I just, you can't put words to that. And right now, we're living in an age where the mental health is such an important thing, and it's not as stigmatized as it was during those times. So for her to come through that and raise herself above that is a testament to who she really was as a person.
And that's true. And it also, you know, back then, well, I was a little girl then, but back then you didn't even hear words like bipolar.
Right.
And you know, I'm wondering if she was actually diagnosed with that at that time. However, I'm glad that she got the help that she needed, and you know, she seemed in a very good place. At, you know, on the documentary. So that's amazing. But you're right. I mean, mental health and mental issues are like really a big thing these days, especially because of the pandemic. As you know, we lost Regina King's son. He committed suicide last week due to that very thing. And it's just be kind to people. You don't know what anybody is going through. Just be kind. And
absolutely,
you know, it may make a difference in somebody's life. But as I was watching the documentary, and I got to thinking, had she went to the NBA, that would have changed the entire landscape of not only the NBA, but basketball.
Yeah.
What are your thoughts on that? Because,
well, I think at the time, and I in my heart, I believe she would have made a difference. I don't know exactly how much on the court, because I feel like it was a publicity stunt by the Jazz. However, her abilities are bar none. She's probably the best center that's ever played women's basketball. And the men's game and the women's game is just a different game. Men are bigger, men are stronger, and they are faster. But I think she would have probably shown them some things they probably hadn't seen before. because she was, again, her footwork to me was the most remarkable thing about her game, because it allowed her to be agile around the basket, and she ran the floor, because most girls that big, they drag up and down the court, but she moved and she was very fluid in her motion. So I think she could have made a difference.
And do you think the men would have accepted her as a teammate in 1977?
That would have been the tricky part, because back then in the NBA, they were smoking cigarettes and cigars and eating hot dogs in the locker room. So accepting a woman into their brotherhood, so to speak, that
Right.
might have been a challenge for her. So, but I think she had the character she had the character to overcome that.
Mm-hmm. Do you think the NBA is ready for a female player today?
Well, I mean, honestly speaking, I think the men playing today, and I think Kobe Bryant had a lot to do with
Oh,
the
yeah.
acceptance of women into not women, but the men following the women in the WNBA. And thank God for him doing it because of his daughter. But back in the day, men were not following women's sports. They were not promoting it unless they had a daughter that played or a family member that played.
Right.
So I have to give a lot of credit to the male athletes in the NBA now, who are very prominent. You see them on the sidelines. They're constantly promoting the women's game, and that's what's needed.
And it's interesting you brought up Kobe and Gigi. Earlier this week, it was 2 years since he passed away, January 26th. Yeah. And had they lived, and had she went on, because she wanted to play for Connecticut, and had she lived and moved on to college and then on to the WNBA, I think a lot of that, like, what it would have made a difference, and it would have probably been some females. She probably would have been the first female in the NBA.
It's possible. Absolutely. I have long believed that in order for women to succeed in sport, and especially in basketball, the NBA would have to underwrite it. And celebrating the anniversary of the WNBA has been an awesome thing, but it still has to continue to grow. And you'll start seeing those things when you have women coaching in the NBA, and also with having just the marketability that we're seeing now with these women too. So I'm excited for where they're going. The sky's the limit.
That's true. I am too. So in your own words, Lori, what legacy will you say Lucy has left with us?
Oh, wow. She was a gentle giant, a humble giant, but truly a pioneer in the women's game and just in sports in general, because Mississippi doesn't have a good reputation for many reasons, and that's well documented, but she represented her state, her family, and her legacy will go on way past our years. She was truly a pioneer, and someone we'll always hold in fond memories.
That's true. And one thing I loved, she mentioned on the documentary, and guys, you have to check this documentary out. It's only 22 minutes, but it's so impactful, and it's so informative about a lot of stuff that we didn't know.
Right.
One of her favorite players was Oscar Robertson, and he ended up escorting her to get, was it the Naismith?
Naismith Hall of Fame, yeah.
She was the first woman to be inducted into the Naismith, and first Black woman, of course, but he escorted her to the stage to get her award. And I see those as God moments, because, it's like certain people that you look up to, and then it's like, wow, so that's awesome. But I mean, we can go on and on all day, but I wanted to bring you on. I mean, I'm not going to hold you, but it was just, I had to talk about her because she was such an amazing woman. And just like you said, she was so humble. And I think because she didn't realize all the hype around her until she started looking at the clips later. And it was like, dang, she's awesome. And she really was. Miss Lucia, you were truly an awesome woman, not only a basketball player, but a woman. You raised 4 amazing children, 2 have doctorates, 1 is an attorney, 1 has a master's. So you did an amazing job. You did everything that God instructed you to do. You followed and ordered, your steps were ordered, definitely. But Lori,
Amen.
Amen. Don't call me Phyllis. But before we go, Lori, it's been a pleasure. But before we go, I have this game I play called You Can Get With This or You Can Get With That. And what that is, it's a way for the guest and myself to get to know the listeners better. I mean, the listeners.
Okay.
It's a way for the listeners and myself to get to know the guests better. I'll ask you questions and you choose the one that best fits you. Nothing is wrong. Just choose one. Okay? Real easy.
All right. All right.
When you're walking, do you prefer listening to music or a podcast?
Definitely music.
I'll be dancing on the trail. Sneakers or sandals?
When?
Huh?
Sneakers or sandals?
Do you prefer
in the summertime or
I mean, it's
just in general?
Preference, just in general.
Sneakers.
I'm a sandals girl. You prefer a couch or a recliner?
Definitely a recliner.
I didn't understand the love for it until the last. I got one. I had a procedure done recently, and I had to. My cousin Serena was like, "Girl, get a recliner," and blah blah blah. So I got one. When I tell you, amazing. I would wake up. I'm like, how long I've been asleep? I mean, it knocks you completely out.
If you get a good one, you can definitely sleep in it.
I have for weeks. It's amazing. Oh, I love it. Do you prefer new clothes or new phone?
Clothes.
Absolutely, new clothes. I got an iPhone 8, whatever. And it works just fine. Do you prefer your toilet paper over or under? Please say it right.
Definitely over. Who does under?
Not stupid people, but
unlearned. How about that? Unlearned.
I like that. Unlearn. It is so. I'll go to people's house and I'll be like, "Oh my gosh!"
I switch it anytime I see it. That under, I switch it out. I'm like, what are you doing?
So stupid. Okay, at the movies, do you prefer candy or popcorn?
Oh, most definitely the hot buttered popcorn. And you got to do 2 layers of butter. So I'm just saying.
Perfect. Do you prefer filet mignon or ribeye?
Ooh, that's tough. I would have to say filet.
Filet mignon.
Filet mignon.
Do you prefer amusement park or a day at the beach?
The beach. The beach.
Tanning. It's 15 minutes on each side for me with tanning. I love water. I love sand. I mean, I'm a July baby, so whatever.
All right.
You better get this one right.
Okay.
Stamps Burgers or Big John's?
What? Stamps, of course.
Okay. Good job. That's my family, Stamps Burgers.
I know.
No, I'm telling you.
Okay.
Last but not least, I kind of already know what you're going to say. As far as female coaches, legendary female coaches, Pat Summitt or Charlene Vivian Stringer?
Ooh, wow. That's tough, but I'm going to go with Coach Stringer. And the reason why is because she has literally been on the line for years, promoting women's basketball and women of color, period, for years. So I have to give her props.
Okay.
Coach Stringer.
Awesome.
No shade against Pat. Love
no,
Coach
that's
Pat.
why I say it's not wrong either way. I mean, because they're both amazing. I love Pat Summitt. Amazing. Well, see, that was easy.
All right.
That was easy. So guys, please follow me at She Say Sports on Facebook, She Say Sports 23 on Instagram, at She Say 23 on Twitter, and please subscribe to our YouTube page, She Say Sports. Lori, it was a pleasure having you on the show again. Thank you so much.
Thank you. I appreciate you inviting me on. I enjoyed it.
Absolutely.
Love your platform. Keep doing what you're doing.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Well, guys, that's my show for today. Until next time, this is Sonia with She Say Sports. Peace.